system, your
world will never be the same again.
in television.
Odyssey, a new dimension.
Really? Only from Panasonic.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console. Astro K. A professor exceeded. And below. 326. Now get up to CDI starting at $299.
Child video entertainment system.
The only system, your
World will never be the same again.
in television.
Odyssey, a new dimension.
Really? Only from Panasonic.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console. Astro K. A professor exceeded. And below. 326. Now get up to CDI starting at $299.
Child video entertainment system.
Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. How are you feeling this evening? We're feeling like it's June 1982 and we got some games to play. We last played, or went to England to play Monster Mine for the ZX81 and ZX Spectrum Micro. Let's see where we're going now. Man, oh man, are we going to delve into the obscure and strange and weird. This is the Arcadia 2001, a brand new home console that's all over the world as different names in different regions. You may have called it something else. This is Nibbleman, and for all I know, this is possibly released in Australia. Let's take a look at Nibbleman for the Arcadia 2001, starting with the box. And we are obviously playing Pac-Man, or another Pac-Man clone. There he is. Or, I'm sorry, Nibbleman? I'm not sure. But there's the example of the front of the box, and we have a reconstructed back of the box. This is pretty much the exact same game as Cat Tracks, which we've already seen for this console, and we're going to see what else Nibbleman has, if it isn't even different than Cat Tracks. Here's some other artwork we have for Nibbleman, with the example of the cartridge we're going to pop in. Oh man. We're going into the strange and bizarre. Here is the manual for Nibbleman. The reason why I say Australia is this is the manual for the MG316, which was a console in Australia only, or the variant of the Arcadia 2001 in Australia. This game is so rare and so hard to come by. It's almost like the episode we had where we were playing the bootleg version, or the Australian bootleg version of the now I can't remember the title. It's the console from the 70s that was competing with the Atari VCS whenever it was released in 1977. So that's where we are. We're in that range of video games. Let's see what Nibbleman has. At least what this manual tells us it's all about. Every dot, Energizer, apple, or cherry is worth points. Watch out for the monsters. If you're caught, you'll be destroyed. However, if you're smart enough, you can reverse the situation and go after them. It's basically explaining what Pac-Man is. No, it is not. Nibbleman is not a very manly title. Manly strangers should have made that comment. The main objective of the game is score as many points as possible. Haven't heard that one before. At the same time, avoid being caught by the monsters. Different scores are awarded by nibbling up dots, monsters, cherries, and apples. They're all together 4 different game variations with 8 options available for each game. Very similar again to Cat Tracks, which we've already seen for the console. I believe this may be just a reskin of Cat Tracks. So how do you get started? We plug in that cartridge. There it is. Insert the line. Yes. Slot it in there. And then what controller do we have? That is not the same controller I'm used to. This must have been for the release only in Australia. Yes, and that's a good point. There's very few Pac-Man clones that feel as good as Pac-Man. We'll see what Nibbleman is like compared to the other ones. We also have different options. You can see on the controller we have closing gates, open gates, and hyperspace. The same controls we saw for Cat Tracks. And there's all the different game variations. Game 1 and 2, I think Game 1 lets everything work. All the options for the game are available. Game 2, Hyperspace is the only one provided. Game 3, only the open and closing gates works. And then for Game 4, it's the basic game with no extra features. So you're pretty much playing close to Pac-Man. And then that's the console I was thinking of, the RCA Studio 2. We played an Australian bootleg of the RCA Studio 2 and played a game called Star Trek on that one. So this is around the same range of how obscure is this game. And then we also have the options, allowing you to change up the maze a little bit. There you go. So it's very similar to the Atari VCS. You flick these buttons on the console to make the changes. So there you go. Switch on the master console. That's an example of what the screen looks like. And then we have how to start the game. You push the start on the console. This is, again, an only one-player game. Even though the console has 2-player ports, we're only playing with one. And I think this is the other game you can have the second player or your younger brother or sister be the one that gets control of the pause to screw things up while you play. And there you go. How do you start the game? And then the points are right there for scoring. Look at this. They have an operation flow diagram. We've never seen this for a console of explaining how to... it's a flow chart. Look, set up the console, insert the cartridge, power it on. Got it. Select the game and options. Start the game. Are 3 nibblers being caught? No. Then loop back to... It's a if, then else. And then if it's yes, then game over. So never seen that on a manual to explain a game. Let's pop in Nibbleman. On our Arcadia 2001 by UA Limited. It is June 18th, 1982. All right, so here we go. As usual, we can pick different options. Oh, and game selections. You can see at the top changing between different ones. Nice. And whenever we're ready, I actually want to go back to Game 1, Option 1, and then push Start on the console. We get a pleasant little ditty. And then we're in. Nibbleman is exactly like Pac-Man, or more accurately, exactly like Cat Tracks, which we've already seen. Can't believe they used the flowchart. And if we want to, we can push the warp button, and then we warp to a whole nother area of the map. And then even more fun is you can push on the control to change the gates. You can see the gates open and close, so you can actually allow enemies to go in and out of the maze. But it's really nothing new, because we already saw this in Catrax. Yes, the color scheme is so much worse than Catrax. But it just played like Pac-Man, so if you want to play something closer to Pac-Man on your system, here you go. And if I want to, I can close up. Wait, are they still? They are, okay. They were in the I can eat them up stage for a very long time. And then you see I can open up the gates, move my way through this way. We have no more dots, so we're relying solely on our ability to move around and collect the last one. Let's see if we can get the last one. And there it is. Start another level, and then you move on to the next one. And the colors were so garish, I think I'm bleeding out of my left eye right now. So there you go. That's Nibbleman. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, it's another game for the console that if you wanted to play a Pac-Man clone, this is pretty spot on for something you expect for a home computer. I will say this, though. It is another Pac-Man clone that is better than the one that was on the Atari VCS. I'm going to go, of all the games you can see at this point, it is not as good as Catrax, but it's an all right title. I'm going to say 3 stars for Nibbleman. Of all the games you could play on a home console. But that is not all. There is also Super Gobbler for the Arcadia 2001, which is essentially Nibbleman as the release in Europe. So Europe, if you've heard of this game or familiar with this one, is on a console that wasn't super popular. But if you did, and you're familiar with this game, you probably recognize Super Gobbler. Let's take a look at the box for Super Gobbler. It is essentially the same game as Nibbleman. There's another name that it goes by, and I couldn't find any copies of that one, and that is Devilman the Dot Muncher. So if this name doesn't sound familiar, maybe Devilman the Dot Muncher is more popular. I wouldn't think so. So you can see this is going to be the exact same affair, most likely at 50 hertz rather than 60 because we're in Europe. Yes, it does make the Coco look even better, right, when you play it on this one. Let's see what other art we have for Super Gobbler. The artwork on the front reminds me of the red dots from when we played Cram on the last episode, the same character. But most of these games on the Arcadia are using marker or watercolor for the front of the box, which isn't as appealing as what they're doing with Magnavox, Atari, and on the Intellivision. And there's the cartridge we're going to pop in to play Super Gobbler. Let's play. This one we don't have the manual for. We just had for Nibbleman. So it is June 18th, 1982. What part of the world you're in, you played this variant somewhere. Here we go. It sounds exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. Oh, but it does not play the same. It is slow. Is it possible because this is the European release and we're playing on PAL system instead of an NTSC system? But yeah, it is slow. Even when picking up the dots. The controls and options are exactly the same from Nibbleman. I still give the marks to Catrax as the better one because of color, because of the way it plays, and they switched up how you play, making it a little bit more charming with the power-ups. This one's more like a rip-off, so you can play something closer to Pac-Man. Yeah, that's my guess. Where would you rather play video games, on PAL or NTSC? Everyone's show of hands say NTSC. So there you go. No more Super Gobbler. We got enough. I'm going to say the same thing for all the games you can play on a home console. It's 3 stars. I still hold Catrax as a pretty good one. I say 4 stars for Catrax, but Super Gobbler and Nibbleman, that's a 3-star game of all the games you can play on a home console. It is still Super Gobbler or Nibbleman better than Pac-Man on the Atari VCS. Nibbleman. Don't put things in the chat because they may come true someday. We may see that game. All right, and after Super Gobbler, let's see where we're going now. It's time to go to the Atari home computer. This is Road Racer and Bowler. Let's take a look at Road Racer and Bowler, starting with the box. It blows my mind that Microcomputer Games and Avalon Hill make a box like this. We've seen another one that's very similar. Look in the top left corner. It's Sports Illustrated. Endorsed by Sports Illustrated. Yes, this is 2 games in one. It's a racing game and a bowling game. So if you want to do bowling and racing, it's all right here. Let's flip it over on the back. We have the cassette variant. And what's interesting is I'd like to know exactly what's in the box. So the way we're playing this is 2 separate cassettes, not 2 different sides. It's 2 different cassettes we'd pop in. I find it hard to believe that they put 2 in one box, like one game on one cassette and one on another, but I don't know for sure. So Road Racer is actually 13 different games in one, gives you 3 different track layouts, oval for beginners, figure 8, and championship Grand Prix course, competing on a basis of time or the number of laps completed. And Road Racer is 2-player simultaneous, so if you want to have a friend play your Atari computer, you can. And if you want to play by yourself, you do the time trial mode. It allows you to test your driving skills against another player or against the computer. And then we also have Bowler, which is a bowling game. And we played a few bowling games already here on the channel. It's 1982. It's nothing new. Let's see what it's like to play these games on the Atari home computer. That's true. Ninja Golf will be coming, I think, in the 90s, right? That's so far in the future. I don't even think I'm going to get to the 90s, to tell you the truth. Let's see what other art we have for Road Racer and Bowler. So besides the front and back of the box, we also have the advertisement. You would have seen it at the time. There's the other game we've seen, which is Knockout, another arcade-style game, a boxing one. And then I don't think we've seen Draw Poker. We may not see Draw Poker because it's a casino style, but it's the games that are not tactical or strategy. That's usually what Avalon Hill's been doing. And then the inside of the map, or inside of the folds, are the manual, which we're going to see later in a sec. There is the cassette we're going to pop in to play Road Racer and Bowler, with an example of the screenshot. Here we go. So open the inside flap, and here's the manual. How do you play? 2 distinctly different arcade games combined into this one neat game package. They're very easily learned, yet not quite so easily mastered. I don't know about that. Using the popular sport of car racing and bowling as their basis, you'll test the manual dexterity and skill, whether playing alone or against live opponents. Notice that the manual, where does it say Sports Illustrated here? I don't think it does. I think they only paid to be a small banner on the front of the box, and that's it. So the rules are very different. It shows you how to load. These are both on tape, so we're going to have to C-load to boot these up. The game begins when you make a selection. Cars are controlled by joysticks, so you can plug in your Atari VCS into your Atari system. Cars will normally run at maximum speed designated. To slow them down for a curve, hold down the joystick button. After the button's been released, the cars will accelerate back to their maximum speed. So this time, the red button on your VCS joystick is the brake to slow you down. And there it is, the example. It's a terrible picture of the joystick in the upper right corner. That's your brake or reverse to do it. Oh yeah, we're going to still have lots and lots of bowling games. If you've seen the other games we played up to this point, since the 70s, there's so many bowling titles. You can check the links down below and see all the other bowling we've seen thus far. This is the newest, latest bowling here on Chronologically Gaming. So then it shows the loading programs or the way to load the other ones. And then there's the example of the track layouts. And then to play Bowler, shows you how to load that one up on cassette. I know I'm skipping by. Hopefully we won't have any problems with the loading, but you never know. And then it also has, they had another title that had the same thing. If you can't load the program, they actually have troubleshooting on the box, which is kind of scary when you see that. All right, so bowling instructions, they're the same in real-life bowling, it says. The balls roll down on the right side of the screen, or of the lane by pressing and releasing the O key. If the O key is pressed again, the ball will curve to the left. So this is only 2 button presses, I think, for bowling. And that's all you need to know. If we run into problems, we'll refer to the manual. So first, let's check out Bowler on our Atari home computer by Avalon Hill and Microcomputer Games. It is June 20th, 1982. How do we load this up? You just need the C-load. And here to those, listen to those beautiful sounds of the cassette loading. And fast forward. There we go, bowling. The ball is rolled by pressing and releasing the button on a joystick. Oh, nice, we don't have to push the O button. Just the joystick button. We got our VCS joystick plugged in. How many people want to play? This one you can choose up to 4 people, but it is bowling, so it's going to be alternate play. I would say let's go with the last person in chat. We'll do 2 people. Now, it's nice that they ask how many joysticks, too. We'll say 1 joystick. First player will have the first joystick, and second will have the first joystick. Nice. And then we put start on our home computer. But it didn't let us do names. Usually whenever they ask for multiple people, you can type in the names. But sorry, not here. All right, so here's how it works. I have my controller in, and I push the button once, and then I push it again and it curves. So it starts off on the bottom of the screen in one direction for first push, and then there's the second push. Oh, I didn't get the spare. And then the second player's up now, so it's keeping track at the top. One button to push, second button to go. Oh, it's very interesting because the only last game I can see that controlled this way was, I think, in 1979. So it's a kind of a homage back to the old style games. Plus, this view is different. Notice that we're playing on the side. Yes, we got it one. We got the strike. So back to the second player. And then... so close. I don't know for sure how accurate it is. Whenever I played any bowling games like this, it feels like the programming isn't what you'd expect for a bowling title, you know, where it's supposed to hit. Yeah, I mean, it's almost random every time you play. At least I can just bowl this down to the end. Nice, and pick up the spare. There you go. And the bowler isn't anything to be desired. So once again, microcomputer games and Avalon Hill, I'd stick to strategy games. Their arcade titles aren't as appealing as the other ones we've seen. All right, so that's Bowler, but we also have another one. We have Road Racer. Let's pop in the second cassette and play some Road Racer. The boxing game was actually pretty good. I like that one. It was all right for the time. Oh, it's over. All right, let's run the second cassette, and we already pushed play, hit return. Let's go ahead and speed this up. We've got to fast forward a little bit through the loading. Loading part 2. There it is. Do we want instructions? Yes, give us instructions. Okay, we can choose between track 1, 2, or 3. Let's go to track 3. That one looks interesting. The normal oval one we've seen before. Number of laps, you can have 99 laps. Oh my gosh. All right, let's do 5 laps. Maximum speed, we're going to go max. 200 for the maximum speed. And then you want to race or time trial. Now, if we do race, it's going to expect 2 controllers to plug in. So let me show you that one first. We'll hit R for race, and it's going to count down 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And the cars just go. I'm in control. It looks like the cars are humping. Oh, no. I think I've glitched. Can we slow? Thank you. Okay, so I'm in control of the red car, and I smashed into the blue one. The blue one is waiting for a second player to jump in. But since there's no second player, it's just going to constantly run into the wall. Oh, man, hear the engines rev. This control's so bizarre. Considering other racing games, this one feels like I'm loose, like I'm controlling on ice almost. How strange, though. When you want to reverse, you hold the button down to slow down, and it's just... And I did finish... I can't believe I finished that. Crazy. Oh, I didn't want to finish again. No, go back. Quit. We'll try one more time. I wanted to show you the time trial mode because you don't have to play with the second player where it looks like the cars are humping. It does look like virtual bumper cars. All right, let's try again. See load. Ah, it's over. And run. Still not giving you the genuine 1982 experience because you'd be waiting a long, long time for these games to load. I will not subject my audience to that, if the best I can. Loading up part 2, and then we are in. All right, let's pick a different track. Let's go track 2 this time. And this time we'll do just 2 laps, and then maximum speed, 200. Still want to go really fast. And let's do T for time trial. And then, oh, nice, they let us pick which joystick because we're only doing one player. So I'm on the left joystick that's plugged in. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so see how the car is not going straight. It feels like it's sliding slightly. It's an interesting control scheme because I'm only having to use left and right on the joystick, but it's almost like you're controlling a car with physics. So of all the games we played up to this point, it is a bizarre feeling for someone to try to program in the shifting weight of the car, but it's done here, and we haven't seen any other game attempt to do this. The only other one I can think of is the one by Sid Meier, the Formula One Racer. on home computer, so it's interesting. I would say that one's the better game of all of the other games you could play on a home computer, or the better one out of Bowler seems very, very simple. But Road Racer actually has some merit to it, playing 2 players at the same time. I'd say of all the games we've seen up to this point on the home computer, Road Racer is an above average title. 2 games in one. You have a bowling title, very simple one, but then you have a good racing game for 2 people. So I'm thinking 3.5 stars. Yeah, it'd be more fun with 2 people. I can see Victor put in 2. Oh, it's not that bad. At least I wouldn't say of all the games you could play on a home computer. Bowling only, yes. The Road Racer bumps it up. All right, so after Road Racer and Bowler, let's see where we're going now. There we go. That's better. Splitting up the 2 ratings is a good way to do it. All right, our next title is a massive title. This is The Road to Gettysburg on the Apple II. This title is hugely war game, board game, and strategic. Let's take a look at the box for The Road to Gettysburg. That's right, it's from the Ultimate in Tactical and Strategy, SSI, a computer simulation game of the Gettysburg Campaign. This is it. Look at this. There is so much information, so much to get into. This is a game you could play and not even get the full effect of the game if you played it for months. That's how invested you have to be to get a good experience for this. This is the feel of actual command, and I agree with them. For the length of time that I've been playing this and preparing for how this game starts, this one actually makes you feel like you're in command of troops during the Civil War, your American Civil War. It is the Battle of Gettysburg. Like all great conflicts in history, it has been the subject of intense scrutiny among historians and strategists alike. The alleged blunders and weaknesses and successes and strengths of the Confederate General Robert E. Lee and Union General George Meade gave rise to much what-if speculations. And here you go, you can have your own what-if speculations with this game. You can see what this does. It has a unique dispatch system. This one actually, you send out the commands for your units, and then your units execute the commands afterwards, as if you were the general. You also have intricate rules. This is assisted with a board that you have in front of you, a physical board along with the video game. And then it's also made for the dedicated gamer. Yes, that right here in the bottom right corner is what you need to pay attention to, because if you're not a dedicated gamer, you're not going to get into this. A dedicated war gamer. Let's see what other art we have, because there's a lot of feelies inside of The Road to Gettysburg. Oh, yes. So it's not the role-playing. We've seen the role-playing games that they first started called the Shattered Alliance. And later we're going to see, of course, the Gold Box role-playing games whenever they get the license for Dungeons & Dragons. So this is all before that. It's going to be coming soon. So beside the box, this is what you see in magazines for the time, along with Pursuit of Graf Spee, which we've already checked out. Here's what you'd see inside the box. You get an actual map that you're going to be using and playing and putting pieces on. Here's an example that I got from a website of them showing how they would play the game and explain where their units are going to be placed whenever they were actually playing the whole campaign. It is very long. Oh yeah, Cosmic Balance. Very, very good shout out. And then after that, you also have the pieces that you're going to be putting on the map. These will be cut out or punched. Thankfully, the person who took this screenshot has them all there. They are still in the original case of what you would see in the box. You also have the scenario data card that breaks down what 2 options the game gives you, depending on what date you start. And then on the side of the box, they have lots of specs, like it's in high res. You have a map board that's on the screen in hex grid. It's 2-player versus the computer. Or 2-player against each other, or you can play against the computer. So you have an artificial intelligence if you want to. And then you have the computer acts as individual core commanders, interpreting orders given to the core, while often acting as its own initiative. And then you can also save the game. There's the 5 1/4 floppy disk we're going to pop in our Apple II. This one, I don't know how many other places it's available. I know for right now we're playing on the Apple II. And this is a nice, fun thing to see. When you first open up these boxes, what you see inside. And then over there on the right is the other one we've already seen, which is Napoleon's campaign, 1813 and 1815. Look at all those pieces. Definitely not for ages 2 or 3. The choking hazards are all over the place. All right, we also have the actual manual. I will not regale you with everything this manual has. This is a 25 or 26 page manual. So after the front of the box, it gives the introduction and the history behind it. You are going to be investing a few months of time to get into and play this game. It is not an easy game for me to showcase on the channel, but I do want you to know of the scope of this title, how large this is. They have all the setup, numbering your troops, how the gameplay works, zones of control whenever units go to attack each other, unit modes, combat modes. You have to know about the terrain that they're on and how it's going to fare to if your troops are going to do well to attack. That's a good point. You probably knew people that were older and smarter that played these games when it came out, because this would be a very popular or board game originally. And then they took that board game and transferred some of the elements into the video game section. Because that's what you do here. You need also the physical board to play as well, which again is hard to do because we're showcasing video games and I wanted to show only the video game section. If you get a chance to see the links where we played the Magnavox Odyssey, the first Odyssey from 1972, that's what I had to do as well. I had to just say, you'd be playing this with a board or cards, and that's what you have to do here too. All right, so here's the combat. How you attack. You also have core morale, fatigue as the war wages on. You have order types, all the different orders to play. You have the stats whenever you decide which troops are going to go in and not go in. And then you also have extra cards after the manual. Then you have the scenario breaking down victory conditions and whenever the game asks you how you want to play. And then we also have kind of a cheat sheet or reference card to play and send out the orders. You have to know all these commands. Like we've seen with the other SSI titles, if you don't have the manual, you cannot play this game. The other ones we've seen, Napoleon's Campaign and so forth, it's not going to work. Look at this. You'd have to memorize all these commands if you didn't have this reference card. And then since it's a hex grid, you also need to know where the number is to make the move, 1 through 6. Incredible. There it is, the same map that we already saw. Oh, yes. This genre is a niche genre. At this point, there is some people who are so dedicated to this genre, but then there are also the arcade gamers. They want to just pop it and play. This is not a pop it and play game. We're going to put the Road to the Gettysburg in our Apple II and play. It's June 27th, 1982. Oh, that's right. We have to load a different way. Let's load this way. This is Paul Murray of SSI. The war game to, I wouldn't say the war game to end all war games, but it's up there. All right, so first we start with options. We're going to do a solitaire game. We're going to do the June 28th campaign and normal battle and level. Let's do, I want number 4 for the easiest level. And we're going to set it up. The other thing that you have to remember is you have to invest a lot of time for the loading because it's going to generate and create everything about the stats of the war. And at this point, you're waiting for this to load. So I'm fast forwarding through this, but in real time in 1982, booting up and playing this game and preparing to set up the computer would take about 10 to 15 minutes. So you'd be sitting and waiting 10 to 15 minutes. Most likely, you're going to go prepare your Earl Grey tea or whatever you have for the time. All right, Confederate status. Press return to continue. So, Confederate Army. The first thing you do is you set up all your troops. And it gives you all the stats. It feels like we're playing an Excel spreadsheet right now. What core number for core A? And I'm just going to go 1 and then 2. And you would base these stats, which are random every time, and be switching which core you want to do for each one. I'm just going to simplify it by going down in order, but you wouldn't do this if you were really into the game. So you can see I'm just picking the different core for which number I want, and then the last one we'll do is 10, and the final one they make is 11 automatically. And every time you play, it's a different experience. So core 1, go ahead and hit, they're starting at hex 6-5, and this would be you taking the piece and putting it on the board of the map that you have in front of you. What is the starting urgency of core 1? We'll just make it 1 for now, and the contact mode I'm going to make is I. So you're making all these decisions for every core. You have to do this for all 11 cores. Yes, that's right. So core 2, we'll make the same 1, and again, we're going to the same. You have to set every single core when you begin the game. It is a arduous task. So I'm going through each core and defining what state of urgency and what contact mode. In other words, how am I going to communicate with them when the game actually begins? Incredible. Every single core. I'm just typing away at my Apple II. And there is 10. And I again. I'm making all the same just to go through quickly. Starting urgency of that one and I. Oh, now solitaire setup. Now it's even more loading to get the game to begin. How do you showcase a game that requires months of planning. Even if you had played war games before or familiar with the board game, you would still need to read the manual, and that would take a long time to familiarize yourself with the game. So I've already looked up ratings for this title of the time. People that were into Civil War said that this is one of the best games to recreate the Civil War that you could play. And it's also one of the best games to be in a true commander position to play the game, because you're essentially just sending the commands out to all the core units and then they execute those commands. The sky is clear. Press any key to continue. Confederate, 0500, turn day 1. Sir, activity at coordinate 6-6. And so you're having to look at your physical map. You're looking down at the actual map. To Confederate Commander, the time 500 hours. From Commander 1 Division, location report. I herewith inform you that my division is located at map coordinate 6-5, where we have been foraging. So you have to follow along each core unit and use the physical map in front of you. It's just crazy. Yes. Very good point, Curtis. It is the Civil War in real time. So now we go to... every one of our divisions now is reporting to us, and we're either making notes on a notepad or using the actual board to mark all this up. So you have to know where these people are. You can see where their coordinates are. They're different places on the map, and then you're going to be sending them to different places next. So here we go. Now they ask, what are your orders, sir? And then you have to type and know the commands to do. And I don't remember if, yeah, this one is not going to work. So I'm not going to go any further than that, but eventually you're going to be, you would have to know all the commands to be able to send your units to different places. It is an extremely complex game, an extremely detailed game, because of the amount of difficulty and level compared to all other games at this time. I'm going to go 3.5 stars, considering the other titles you could play. It obviously is the genre that you would have to be into, but for this time, Road to Gettysburg is not one of the best SSI releases. It is specifically if you want to play as a general, and if you want to play in the Civil War, this would be the game for you to play. The ultimate one. And there is one. I'm going to include a link down below that has even more detail about the game and how to play the game for someone that went through all the scenarios, if you're interested. So that's the Road to Gettysburg. Very cool title if you're into it in 1982. With that, let's press forward and see our next game. All right, if you look over on the left side, that video means we're here with yet another Star Trek variant. Captain to crew, it's time to play New Trek on MS-DOS, or PC Booter, or MS-DOS compatibles. This one we have no information for, no artwork, except a few screenshots, so we're just going to pop in New Trek and play. This is by R.H. Johnson. It is June 28th, 1982. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Do you want game instructions displayed? Yes, yes we do. Enter your skill level, beginner, average, or expert. We are definitely beginner. You are a new Starship Commander. Captain, you must destroy 22 Klingons in 39 stardates with 9 star bases. Quadrant contains invisible Romulan. Now, if you haven't tuned into the show, you would think this is another tactical strategy game, and you are correct. If you have tuned into the show, you would realize this is probably the 15th Star Trek variant we've seen so far, and it's not going to end. We're going to see a bunch of these. Yes, if you enjoy this kind of game, it still works really well. What's really cool, though, is this specific game that we're playing right now is an awesome throwback to 1977 on the Sol 22 mainframe computer. This is a direct conversion of that mainframe Star Trek variant here on your MS-DOS computer. So if you were a retro gamer in 1982, I guess if the mainframe would be retro gaming in 1982, this would blow your mind because you would be playing exactly what the Sol 22 had available. Yes. Oh, that's true. Yeah, they didn't have any color or anything like that. I'm surprised too. IBM supported it. But yeah, this one is meant to be the homage or the one-to-one conversion of that game. No, we still won't have that. I don't think we'll have those until the 90s, Victor. It's not going to happen, especially if we're only doing this text-only game. Okay, so what command do we want? If I try something that's not the correct command, it'll tell me what they are. So here's all the commands. You have to know these. Thankfully, they tell us all. We can stay idle in space. We can move the Enterprise. We can do a hyperspace jump, a short-range scan, a long-range scan, fire phasers, fire torpedoes, shield control, damage control, call the computer, and then end the game, which I guess is like calling Uncle, like we saw in the other one. And what you do is you are supposed to destroy all the Klingons, moving yourself around space. So let's do a short-range scan for now. And you can see this is where we see this one. Let's do a long-range scan. Long-range sector shows, and these numbers are important because they'll tell us how many enemies are around the area. So we have the short-range scan. Let's go ahead and move the Enterprise. And you can see over here, they tell us the directions for what course we want. If we're there, we don't know where the Romulan's hiding, so let's check out one of the stars on the end. Let's go with 6, and we'll just do warp factor 1. Engage. Warp engines shut down at Sector 2 due to bad navigation. Oh, see, it's random. It wasn't my fault. I'm not the true Captain Kirk. Also, what's interesting is for all the games we've seen up to this point, there has been only one official Star Trek game, and that's the Star Trek... two. Star Trek 3, 3 or 3.5 has been an official like Star Trek made game. And then we also have Star Trek for the Milton Bradley Microvision handheld called Phaser Strike. Other than that, all these games like this one, even though it says Enterprise and Captain Kirk, they're not official. These are just knockoff games. Someone's making a fan Star Trek game because everyone loves Star Trek. At least maybe 1982. Oh, yes, we probably hit the star. See the asterisk? I think that's what we hit. And the Romulans moved, so they're no longer in this sector. The stop used 92 energy units. And then since the warp engines are shut down, we have to get to another place. If I try to move, what will happen? Let's go to the right. Let's go 1. And then warp factor 2. Okay, it did let us move, but it's very, very slow. All hands alert for Kelvin Doomsday Machine. Doomsday track. Stars destroyed, Kelvin machine leaves quadrant. And the Doomsday Machine pretty much means the entire short-range scan area is blown up. It's a massive explosion that destroys everything in the quadrant. Yes, that's true. It does feel like those Star Trek battles. Oh, the 3.5 page. Oh, yeah, that's right. They originally had the license, and then they lost the license, right, for 3.5? Because you can tell whenever we played the original first time that it was available, it looks legit, like a true Star Trek licensed game. All right, so next, let's move again. Hopefully we don't get blown up. Let's go to the right. And warp factor 5. Damage control report. Long-range sensors conditions improved. We tried to cross the negative energy barrier. Energy stop requires 100 units of energy. The Romulans have left the quadrant, but we now have an invisible Romulan that's here. And I'm following our short-range scan, so I shouldn't go to the right. I'm probably going to hit another star or rock. So let's move ourselves again. This time we'll go down. And warp factor 3, engage. Space Storm sends the Enterprise off course. You've tried to cross the negative energy barrier, and it requires 100 units of energy. The Romulan is no longer here. What we haven't seen, though, is any Klingons yet. Oh, yes. Oh, they're already in the works. By the way, most of the games we get on the channel are people are sending in stuff to help me out to make sure we cover the whole catalog. So really appreciate all the sources out there that have helped me get all these games to play. All right, so that's enough of New Trek. It essentially is an old school style Star Trek variant. We've played newer ones that added some quality of life improvements and added a few different features. But New Trek, it's just a Star Trek variant. It even might be the homage of one of the first Star Trek variants you could play. So how good of a game would you say for all the computer games out there? I'd say it's still around the average range because it's trying to play similar to a game from 1977 on the mainframe. I'm still thinking average. It also depends on if this is your cup of tea. Do you like Star Trek? Do you like strategy games? I'm going to go 3 stars. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, it's fairly average, but you'd have a good time because on the MS-DOS computer, load times are quick. You'll get in this game fast compared to the other ones out there. All right, so after New Trek, let's go to our next title. It's time to go to the arcade and play Gravitar. Let's check out Gravitar. Really excited for this one. We have the advertisement flyer, another classic one by Atari. It just pops. And we have obviously a sci-fi theme here. This game has a lot to it, and I'm excited to get into it and play a lot of it. After that, we also flip it over on the back. It has an example of the arcade cabinet. A message from Atari Mission Control. Your mission is to travel to alien planets, wipe out enemy bunkers, gather fuel units, and make the solar system safe for you and future generations of space pioneers. Fuel units should be collected with each planet. Fuel is depleted each time. Thrust and shield tractor are utilized. Measures should be taken to ensure ship safety. Use shield against enemy fire from bunkers and alien ships. There are 3 solar systems. I don't think, whenever I played this in the arcade, I only went to the 1 solar system. I didn't even know there were 3 until I read the manual. It shows here on the left side with the screenshots, the first solar system with positive gravity, and then the planets you go to change gravity. That's why it's called Gravitar. Yes, Gravitar, the arcade event. Look at that arcade cabinet. Atari is already killing it in the arcades. They're going to keep going fairly well, even past the video game crash with the consoles in North America. But the arcades, oh man, look at that. So cool. And then there's the arcade PCB. The control panel, look at what we have on the control panel. This one controls very similar to Asteroids. Uses the button to rotate left and right, the thrust button, the fire button, and the shield button. It's more, I guess, Asteroids Deluxe because you also have the shield there as well. And then there's our controls. The arcade marquee looks just like this. So cool. The character on the side reminds me of Tron a little bit, but the sci-fi and space feels are all here. There's a fan art one. Yeah, there he is. Is that us? Are we that character? Oh, I'm already seeing ratings. Yeah, send them out. If you're familiar with Gravitar, throw them out there. And let's see what the manual has for Gravitar. Atari's manuals are top-notch for operators. This has artwork in it. It has some little color, like you see on the front, but then they have little pieces of artwork that get you into playing the game, which is so cool. It does have all the technical information as well, so we'll breeze by that. But I mean, look at this. So nice. 1982 by Atari. Do not reproduce this. Make sure you have all the parts. And we'll go breeze by the table of contents. Lots of information here showing you the different places that it was distributed, and then setting up the manual and how to use the manual. Make sure you got all the parts for your system when it comes up. Atari always has the new features. It says there's a shielded game speaker for 8-ohm, 6-ounce high-fidelity speakers provide exceptional audio. The speaker magnets are shielded. The high score table are 8 different titles for the high score. The titles determined by the highest score registered. There's a molded coin box. Don't think that's new. I think we've seen that before. And then they break down the game inspection, installation, switch locations, all this and more. I don't know if you read the manual as the operator, because I'd be so excited to play this. Then we go through the self-test procedure as usual whenever you get your system. Then we got the gameplay. Gravitar is a 1- or 2-player game with color XY video display. And nowadays we call that color vector graphics. This new display with 3 color guns and higher voltage has the same technology that was used in previous Atari black and white XY displays. However, the screen now displays dazzling colors and unique visual effects. Oh yeah, it does. The player controls a spaceship in 3 different solar systems. Each solar system consists of a home base, a Death Star, a red alien planet, and 4 regular planets. Each planet has its own unique terrain and gravity. The red alien planet is the home of shooting alien ships. Some of the regular planets may have flying alien rammers to be avoided or shot down. The 4 planets all have fuel cells to be retrieved with a tractor beam and alien bunkers that fire shells. Successfully destroying all the bunker results in a mission complete message at the top of the screen. Achieving mission complete allows the player to collect bonus if they can evade the rammers when leaving the planet. If successful, they'll be placed back in the solar system. So there's an overhead view. The solar system is like the main screen, and then from the main screen you can go into different planets. So cool. The player has 2 ways to advance to the next solar system. First is successfully completing a mission on all 4 regular planets. So you go to all the planets and complete the mission. The second way is to go to the red planet, which establishes a link to the next solar system. And there you have a reactor that you blow up. Gravitar has 5 possible modes of operation, and this is typical for most arcade games at the time. Demonstration, attract, play, high score, and self-test. And there's some more penciled in artwork. Nice. And then they go through the different modes. Demonstration mode, attract mode, and then we have the play mode. It begins in the first solar system with a player's blue ship in the center of the home base. There are 4 regular planets plus a 5th red alien planet and a Death Star arranged clockwise around the screen with increasing order of difficulty. Every time you finish a planet, you get points for it, and there's the point values. The position of the alien planet and Death Star vary in the 2nd and 3rd solar system. So again, when I first played this, I thought what we first saw was it. That was cool enough. But no, there are 2 more solar systems in this game. It is so cool. Yeah, for an arcade game, it is very complicated. being able to go down to the planets. There's only one other game we've seen do this where you start off at a top-down view and then you fly down to a planet or another surface, but not for this fidelity. This is taking it to a whole nother level. And you control this ship just like the ship from Asteroid, so it should be fairly simple for all the people that have played that one. But it is now on color vector rather than black and white like the original. And we use the tractor, beam, or shield button. They're both for the same one whenever you want to complete your objectives. Fuel cells are positioned just below a planet's surface. There's 2, 3, or 4, and use the tractor beam to board the ship. When the ship is above the highest point on some planet terrains, flying alien rammers attack, and you have to shoot them to score points. If you get too close to an alien ship, then you get to a one-on-one space fight. So on the top-down view of the map, you actually have ships that come at you, and it turns into if they get close enough, it turns into a one-on-one dogfight, which is kind of nice. Then we also have the red alien bunkers that appear on each planet. There's 2, 4, 6, or 8 bunkers per surface. The bunkers fire shots to protect the fuel cells. Exploding a bunker scores 250 points. Exploding all of them gives you mission complete, and then you're done with that planet. The word super bonus and number super bonus appear in the middle of the screen only after you complete the mission on the first planet in the first solar system. The super bonus points are awarded on a basis of initially difficulty. Okay, so that's just getting the super bonus and getting points. But you really shouldn't worry about points. If anyone's played this game, you know how difficult this is. This is one of the hardest arcade games up to this point. It's up there with like Eugene Jarvis hard. Gravitar is no different. And then we have even more instructions because this game is massive. You can go to different planets and have different gravity fields and different missions on each planet. And then after you finish the planet, then you can also go to the Death Star and destroy. So it's just lots of different options to play the game. And then they give you some hints to play. Oh, this is nice. Usually we don't get this for the arcade. They only give us this for the manual for the VCS or home consoles. Develop a skill for controlling the spaceship in regular and negative gravity. Oh yeah. You really need to know how to control it. Beam up fuel cells with the tractor shield. Attack the red planet first for maximum challenge. That's the one that has the reactor that you have to blow up and then get out of there. Attack more difficult planets early in the game for higher bonus. And then many planet terrains have safe areas or blind spots where the player can safely shoot at bunkers. And it's up to you to find those. And the rest of it is troubleshooting. So we have 2 different versions that were available. We're actually going to play the latest version that's less bugs of Gravitar. It's time to go to the arcade and play. By Mike, Hallie, and Rich Adam of Atari. It's June 29th, 1982. Let's start off with this first screen. When you come up to the arcade cabinet, you're going to get the control panel that's down below. And that's part of the fun. It makes you feel like you're part of a sci-fi game. Let's go to the video and I'll show you what I mean. This is what the whole control panel looks like when you look down. Not all of this is used. You only have the rotating, the 2 buttons to rotate left and right, and then the 3 buttons for your attack. But it does have instructions because this game is so difficult. Look, it shows you how to play. Fly to planets, scoring points and regaining fuel. Complete all 4 planets or red planet. Places you in a new universe, avoiding ships in the solar system, or be drawn into deep space battle. But as Nolan Bushnell said, the best arcade game is the one that doesn't require any instructions at all. So you can see how far Atari has gone past the norm or what they wanted for arcade games. Currently, I think it's Ray Kassar that's the current CEO of Atari, and now they have video games in the arcade that are this complicated with this much instruction on them. All right, so let's switch it out and show you what the artwork would look like as the... I have just different examples here, but we're going to go from this one and then zoom it in and see it all. Yeah, let's play some Gravitar. The attract mode also gives you some hints or shows you how to play the game too. I was one of the people in the arcade that didn't have as much money, so sometimes I just go in and watch someone else play the game or sit here and watch this attract mode. I mean, look at this. It is so impressive. And I'm going to crank the volume up because the sound for this... There we go. This one should be good. We'll see if that one's loud enough. That's the sound when you put a coin in. The thudding bass. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's another good point. Depends on what age you played the arcade games. If you were too young, I could understand you just passing by this one. All right, let's go. We start off on the main solar system hub, and I'm in control of the blue ship that's slowly moving toward the star in the center. What? These ships... What? The other ships don't fly in. If you fly in, though, you die. So you have to be able to fight the gravity. And this is where you can kind of familiarize yourself with how to use and fly the ship. Now, the base over on the far left side, the red one, has ships come out. If the ships get too close, it then goes into this mode, where they zoom in to a dogfight style. It's the same idea with controls. So controls haven't changed, but you can see I can shoot them from far away, but if they get close enough, then we go into another battle after that. So let's pick a planet to go to and start the mission. And the scores you see kind of remind me of Tempest, where you're able to select which kind of map you want to have to play on. So let's start on the easy one, which is the 2,000 points here in the top right corner. And we're in. Look at it. This is the very first time that a color vector game scrolls like this. This is a shoot 'em up that employs gravity and is scrolling left to right across the screen. We've never seen this of all the video games thus far. And notice how it's not wrapping around, too. It actually zooms in whenever you get close enough to the turrets. Oh! And that's what makes this game so difficult, is the gravity. Not being able to control or getting used to controlling your ship, and it collides with the surfaces. That's where you're going to find the most difficult time. Let's see if we can pick up one of the fuel cells here. There's my tractor beam, which is also the same as the shield. There we go, got it. So we picked up the source there, and all we need to do now is complete our mission. Getting one of the turrets. Yikes. Let's look for the other one. There he is. But I gotta tell you, even though we played lots of games with gravity or this kind of control for a spaceship, this just feels like I'm in a larger world, and it's so fun. In a way, Atari maybe shouldn't have done this as an arcade game. They should have done this as something you could play at home, because obviously, look how far I'm getting on 1/4. Well, I crashed again. I'm guessing this didn't sell as well as other titles. Oh, it has mission complete. Nice. Okay, we're done. How do we get out of here? Do we just fly up? Get out of here. There we go. Nice. You just leave the planet by flying up. So you can see we finished that first mission, and it's gone. Oh, we got too close. We have to go in a dogfight. Oh, and they got us. They came in really fast. The game realizes I've been playing too long on 1/4 and must finish us. So let's go to the next one, the one that looks like Saturn over here in the bottom right. Oh, and I got intercepted again. Okay, we got him. Yeah, the gravity feels really good on this one. What? Oh, he shot us from space. And that's it. Now, does it allow us to put in high score? Nice. What is it? Shield or tractor beam? Okay, got it. There's so many buttons on the control panel, but it's so much fun. Okay, we got another credit in there. Let's go start and notice that it's all gone. Our work done on the mission in the top right is back again. So it is not a pay-to-play game. You have to be really good at Gravitar. All right, we're going to the second mission. Same thing as before. This is a scrolling game. Look at this. And it just feels so massive compared to any other game we've seen so far. So much fun. All right, so let me get my bearings here. Nope, nope. This is what you have to work on, playing the gravity for you here. Nice and easy. Okay, got that one. There we go. Oh, see, you gotta be really careful with the thrusters. But it's one of those titles that whenever you die, you want to play again, and you want to think you can do it better next time. When you see someone else play the game, you also tell yourself, oh, it can't be that difficult. Let me take over. Let me hold the controls so I can see how it feels. Got it. There we go. And you do pick your battles. You pick which planet you want, so you're picking the difficulty. Oh, please don't put one under there. Okay, good. I was like, I didn't want to have to go down there. Oh, yeah, yeah. Black Widow. That's another excellent one. All right, of all the games we've seen to this point, this would be one of the best games you could play for the time. The only draw I'd see for this is the difficulty. The difficulty curve is pretty steep. So I'm thinking 4.5 stars of all the games you could play for the time. Gravitar is, it is one of the best, but I wouldn't give it 5 just because of how it's brutally difficult. It also isn't like an extremely iconic compared to other titles. Personally, I was more into or played more of a Major Havoc than this one in the arcades. Gravitar is one that I think I only played once or twice in the wild. And Major Havoc we haven't even seen yet. It doesn't even exist yet. I know, that's another good point. Thinking of how far we've come, how quickly we've gone from game to game, to see this. This is a space shooter on a whole new level. Where in the world is the... It didn't say my mission was complete, so where's my... Am I... Oh, I gotta blow up all the turrets, I bet. That's what it is. I'll be with you in a sec. Oh gosh, that was so cheap. So not only do you have to be really good at controlling and moving the craft, but you also have to be really good at knowing what every level is or mission you have to take to play. All right, so let's go in again. Put another coin in, and let's go. This time, let's go right for the Death Star, which means we'll have to shoot our way over there. On the main map, your gun has a limited range. You can't shoot very far because they're wanting you to go in the dogfights with the other ships. Oh, push, push, push. Oh, this star is pulling me hard. Okay, so here you go. If you can do this, it's very, very difficult. But if you can make yourself down to the reactor in time... What do we got? 19? Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it in time. If you can make it yourself fit... Oh, it's so tricky. Got to be easy on the thruster. Easy on the thruster. That's it. Nice and easy. I don't think I'm going to make it, though. Because it's going to blow, I think. And then I got to get out of here. Nice and easy. Oh, yeah. Since we didn't make... Yeah, we didn't make it in. It just brings us out. So if you're able to go in and destroy it, though, then you finish this solar system and move on to the next one. All right, let's check out one more planet. Let's go over to this one. Look at that. So this one has 3. You have turrets and you have... Gosh, the turrets are so difficult. Yeah, I would say Tempest is definitely a 5-star title compared to all other games. We've already seen Tempest on the show, but this one is that learning curve that holds it back. I mean, look at this. Look how cheap the turret fire is. We're even playing on version 3 of the arcade cabinet, which is a modified one. They changed a few things up, and not for the difficult. They actually made the difficulty easier on version 3. But because by the time you play the first one, the bullets are not random. They actually added some randomization for where the turrets fire at you. But man, it's so fun. Even with the difficulty, though, I still hold this as one of the best arcade games you could play for the time. So of all the games that you could play on an arcade, I'm saying 4.5 stars for Gravitar. It is awesome. And one that you should play at least once or twice or a bunch of times. Because of the variety and knowing that there's more than one solar system, we only showed one. There's 2 other ones with even more planets. It makes you want to put more coins in and see what's next. That is the true arcade game that's pushing the limits here in 1982. That's it. Yeah, 4.5 from Mark as well. Yeah, and to tell you the truth, the first time I played Gravitar, I think I was watching someone. I didn't even play this arcade game. I was too young to probably even appreciate or get into it. Now it's time to put our video game playing on pause this evening. We are almost about to wrap up the games we found the definite release dates for in June of 1982, and then we're going on to all the video games we don't know when they were released, but at some time in June of 1982. That's it for today, and like I always say, the road to playing every video game is a long and arduous journey. Some say it may take a lifetime. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.